I welcome into a very special edition of the Lab presented by Wolverine. I say that every time, but I think you guys can see why this one's very special. JJ, man, it's been a long time coming. Super excited to have you here. First off, how are you doing? How's your health? If you can maybe give us an update. How's the knees doing?
Well, I really appreciate you having me on, Jake, but I think it's a special one because it's Ohio State week and it's a beautiful Tuesday
Yes.
here in November. But, the knee is doing fantastic. It's on the road that they told me it was going to be on, which is up and down, upside down. Sideways, backwards, all the way around. So it's,
Nice.
just like PRP, we got that done. So going in there and having to, get cut open wasn't great, but it's all right because, it's all part of the process. And, I'm in a good spot right now.
Did you ever people would say, "Hey, which one's your bad knee?" to me, and I'd be like, I was very, very adamant about saying I don't have a bad knee. Like, this is actually
Yeah.
my good knee. Do you kind of approach that? You play the mental game with yourself a little bit?
I haven't had time to sit with myself as long as you have. I haven't thought about those things yet, but once I start getting to cutting and everything, I'm sure those questions are gonna arise.
Yeah, that's the word. A little word to the wise. Just, hey, you don't have a bad knee. This is your good knee.
Love
Always,
that.
always.
Love that.
Never let your knee know you're thinking bad about it, and they don't
Noted.
treat you well. Yeah.
Noted.
As
Okay.
you mentioned, Ohio State, Michigan week.
Yeah.
So much to get into. This is strange though. Like, I mean, gosh, covering it now in the media for a few years, like there's been so much hype surrounding this game every year, and just for the nature of where Michigan's at this year, it
Mhm.
seems quiet on the Michigan end, and
Mhm.
I guess could that be a good thing? Could that be a good thing? Because I'm looking at the way the boys played last weekend. That was their best game of the season. I mean, they put up points against Northwestern, and uh, what's your thoughts, like even around the Vikings building? Like, do you guys have many Ohio State players on your team? Your thoughts on like the dynamic going into this week?
Well, to answer that question right away, I don't have many Ohio State players on the team. I don't think we have any anymore. But Josh Metellus and I, we're definitely excited
Hold it
for this
down.
week. Yeah, holding it down up in the north here. But I would say I I'm like super excited for this game coming up this Saturday because of the way it's set up, like you said. One of the biggest lessons that I took from one of my favorite books, The Art of War, Attack by Deception.
Mm,
And, you know, like it's been a long time since the Buckeyes beat Big Blue.
yeah,
And just this year feeling like it's such a lopsided, like underdog and they're going to blow us out, yada, yada, number two team in the country. Perfect.
yeah,
Set up perfectly for us.
yeah.
Because, like you said, playing great ball right now. All it is NFL, college. How are you playing at the end of the year, especially with this 12-team playoff now? So, them being able to come together at the right time, and it's going to be about do they play together as one? Because every time that I've been a part of beating those guys, that's what it is. Offensively, defensively, special teams, coaches, players, everyone united as one. Go in there, beat the individuals. That's it. That's the goal. So if they have the right scheme, players come the right juice that day. It should be a very exciting day for Michigan Nation. That's for sure.
Yeah, it's I think of like Warren Buffett, like value investing, right? Like you always want
Mhm.
to buy, where there's value, and like the world expects Ohio State to be dominant. Michigan State is down, but I look at Michigan is down,
Mhm.
and I look at Michigan as a team that's so much more talented than their record, and just because of so much change, rotating quarterbacks, new
Mhm.
coaches, like they finally put it together last week against Northwestern. So I see them as much more valuable than their record right now.
Yeah.
I see Ohio State with some of the injuries on their offensive line as a little bit more vulnerable than what people are giving them. So
Mm.
I'm buying Michigan just because of the
Mm.
value you can get. And this is, don't you, when you say like, hey, play together as one, like this is the year because Michigan has the history now. They have the belief. There's not a single Ohio State Buckeye that knows what it's like to beat Michigan. That
Yeah.
counts for something, right?
Oh, yes. That definitely lives in their head. I mean, it lived in the heads of the seniors my freshman year, never beating Ohio State. I mean, yes, it fuels them, but also it gives them that second of hesitation
Right.
that little ounce of fear that could play a role in a big moment.
It's human nature. You have to
100%.
overcome that if you want
Yes.
to win. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. And, I just feel like the biggest thing that it's going to show up this weekend is what we talked about earlier. Is that unity. Like, if that shows up, we just have to be better than they are in those 60 minutes. And, that's going to be something that could fundamentally, well-roundedly kind of tie everyone together to play at their best. So, yeah.
What about playing on the road? I mean, I just, that game in 2022 was it's different. I mean,
It's
I
different.
always enjoyed playing on the road.
Right.
I felt like it was just an untapped source of energy. Like you
Mm-hmm.
can draw on, like if you can take their energy and capture it, like
Yeah.
that gives you more energy. What was that game in 22 like?
100%. Like I believe playing on the road, there's a lot of things like that you can take advantage of. And we talked about human nature. Anytime you're in a setting that's unknown, that's foreign, you're immediately instincts like fight or flight turned up, ready to go, like on alert at all times. So that's another advantage I think you get from playing on the road, especially in a hostile environment like the shoe. But I just feel like it's gonna be loud on third down. They're gonna, flick you off on the way there to the locker room and do all that stuff. You're gonna see the X's crossed out, but all that is just jazz, glitz, and glamour for the fans. At the end of the day, strap them up, smell the dirt, let's play ball.
Yeah.
Like, doesn't matter where you are. That's something that I learned from Coach Herb. That was one of the biggest lessons is like anytime, any place, like, yeah, it's cliche, but like it does not matter. It could be snowing, it could be raining, it could be 102, it could be in the horseshoe, it could be in the freaking parking lot. We're going to strap it up and we're going to give you our best. So it's just like, handling the little stuff. You talked about the quarterback inconsistency, the little stuff like pre-snap, getting the play in, defense, not jumping off sides, stuff like that. But, they should be good. They should be good on the road. They're fit for it.
They are. Have you talked to Davis at all? Because I mean, really, your first start in this game was on the road in 2022, right?
Yeah.
You played in the 21 game, but you started. It was your team in 2022. Have you talked to Davis much ahead of this game, or any advice for him?
Usually, I talk to him around like Thursday or Friday, but the advice for him is really simple. Like, one, you are going to want to, excuse my language, shit bricks when you get out there the first drive. I mean, this come from me. Like I was, Michigan, Ohio State. That was my entire life. So being out there that first drive, you saw a little bit, a little bit of that. But you saw the calmness in my eyes, though, and that's the thing. It's like I'm going to tell them your body, everything inside of you is going to want to scream. But if you just tell yourself not to not do that it's okay, that's normal. I get it. Like, I'm human. I'm a little excited. I'm a little nervous. It's a big game. Then you'll see, like, soon after, that's going to fade away. And you're going to get back to the mindset of what's my job on this play. And that's going to give you the best success, kid, because, like, the more you get wrapped up in the bells ringing on third down and Jack Sawyer trying to get in your head and JT trying to, just, like, give you some mean look, like, the more that comes into play, the less you're focused on your task at hand for that play, which is ultimately going to be the best success for the football team. So it's going to be really simple. That's all it's really going to be. And then I'll give them a little, some shit to them beforehand too.
Yeah. Then it's that you can use it to your advantage. It can become like Pavlov's conditioning, where they come the fourth quarter, you've made so many plays in those moments that the bell rings and you get up to the line, you said, "Oh yeah, this is our time." Like this, we know what it's like for this crowd to be up and then be quiet. Like
it's funny. It's funny you mentioned that, because I just like flashed back to that 3rd and goal run for the touchdown. Like, it was exactly that moment.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Excuse the language again. My bad.
And even that play is a perfect example, because like you didn't have a clean path. It's not like it was Friday walkthrough where you're, you got guys had to strain, guys had to adjust. Like the picture was a little muddy. You had to make some cuts and then lower your shoulder, right? Like it's about making, nothing will be perfect in this game. There's nothing scripted about this game, right? You have to make the plays in those given moments.
Yeah. No doubt. And, the hay's in the barn for most of it, because you know as well as I know, like those plays don't just show up at a flip of a switch. It's what you do consistently throughout the entire year, every single day. But that's where I feel like we have the advantage in that aspect. I think we do shit the right way, and we're prepared for those moments.
Hey, I wanted a few more before we let you run here, man. I know Kirk Campbell, like you had a great relationship with Kirk Campbell, and he's caught in some heat at time of this year. And I tried to remind people the context of the challenge he's had ahead. He has, and I think the context is like, guys, just think about the job he's done. This is a new collection of guys. I know he helped you a ton in your development, and now he's calling plays in the biggest game. Maybe could you give the fans some insight on your relationship with him and how he helped you develop?
For sure. Before I get into that, I would just like to set up a little context for his situation. So you're taking over the offense coordinator job of the defending national champions. You lose the head coach. You lose the head strength coach. You lose all 6 of your starting 6 offensive linemen.
Which is the identity of your team, too.
That's going to make everything go. I'll promise you that. That's where it starts. You lose one of the best running backs in Michigan history. You lose your quarterback. You lose your best 2 wide receivers. And go make something out of it. Go play against Oregon. Go play against Washington at Washington. Go play against Texas week 2. It's pretty tough. That's pretty tough. And needless to say, hey, try to do it with 3 different quarterbacks. It's really, a lot on his plate where, of course, everyone's going to be quick to judge. That's the society we live in. I mean, you just got to live.
It's a good thing, and you want the standard to be high. You want to play small, but
exactly. And that's some of the conversations that we've had. And, this is exactly what he asked for. And Kirk's a competitor. He's gritty, Western PA guy. He's built for it. But, I just feel like the fans – it's just these things take time, and you understand. Well, when you look back at, our success over the last 3-4 years, it took a lot of time. It took a lot of your blood, your sweat, your tears to get to that point.
Yeah.
So it's I'm not saying that the glory years are over or anything, but just a little bit of patience has to be, put into play, because it's just, not the same, Coach Harbaugh team anymore. It's a new era with Coach Moore, and what he's doing is, the right way of doing things. So it's just gonna, take a little patience, take a little time, and a little grace to let these guys, really get their hands on the program and let their culture, philosophies, ideas really, get into play.
Yeah. Big shout out to our sponsor, Wolverine, as there is a new collab with Wolverine and U of M football players, guys like Colston Loveland, Alex Orji, Donovan Edwards, Mason Graham, all your favorite players, basically. You can head over. You can see it all over social media. These guys doing photo shoots. What can't they do? Modeling the new clothes in new gear. I'm wearing the flannel, as you guys know. It's fall. Got to wear flannels. But there is a new special edition Michigan branded Wolverine work boot. It's beautiful for the fall. Actually would go really well with this flannel. So basically, if you guys want to shop this collection, shop the new work boots, shop the new collab between Alex Orji, Mason Graham, Colston Loveland, all these guys, head over to wolverine.com/blue collar. Again, that's wolverine.com/blue collar to shop the collection and learn more about Wolverine's NIL campaign with hardworking Michigan football players. So
when I do these review pods, I'll be like, what do you guys want? Because I see Iowa, for example, where they know that they know their strengths and their weaknesses, and they just end up being extremely conservative. There's frustration there. We don't like when Samaj Morgan does a throw to Alex Orji, and it's man, he's literally. I respect the guy that's trying everything to win. There's no, it's a zero-sum game, and I get it. And I love the fact that Michigan has a high standard. I hope it never changes, but 100%. I'm excited to see him this weekend, because I feel like last weekend was really important for the guys, and I think they found something. I'm excited to see Davis too, because he's peaking at the right time. All right. Definitely. I want to ask you about Bryce Underwood, but before we do that, The Champion Circle Toy Drive is coming up here on. It'll be December 14th at Somerset Mall, 1 to 5 p.m. Will Johnson's going to be there with other Michigan student athletes, 1 to 3 p.m. I know this was something you're heavily involved in charitable activities, something that's close to your heart. Just maybe why was it important for you, or what were some of the ways you were involved with the toy drive?
Well, it was super important to me just because I'm always about, those intimate connections, relationships that you make with the fans and being able to, help out in any way, because as athletes, we have this very unique and pretty powerful image that, we have a responsibility to uphold and make sure we use it in the right way. And getting out there for the toy drive was just a little easy thing I could do to just help out, those kids in need, and just be, doing something with my teammates to give back. That's also another aspect that's pretty good. And it's just such a great environment too, at Somerset. They do it really well. It's very clean and flowing process. And yeah, you should definitely get out there. I mean, if Will Johnson's there, you're going to get some buffs. So
yeah, exactly. It's the coolest thing about being like part of Michigan, like part of the attraction of Michigan is like the community and the family aspect. So it's a chance there. All right, man. Bryce, big news, Michigan, big news. Like reminds me of when you got when you committed. I mean, Bryce Underwood, 5-star. People are saying, like, I mean, look, people are expecting a sweeping change and immediate success. Just however you want to answer this, like, what's your advice to this young man?
I sent Bryce a little text the other day on my advice to him, but I'll just add a little something else if he sees this. My advice to him would to be chase the suck. Chase the stuff that you absolutely do not want to do. One of the greatest things I learned from the great and legendary Greg Harden was to do everything 100%, 100% of the time. Whether it's that class you do not want to go to that's on the other side of campus, you're going to go. You're going to do it. Whether it's that, conversation that you don't want to spend the next 30 seconds in, you sit there and you do that because that kid, that girl, that guy, whoever it is might need it. And, just understanding that Michigan, where you are, inevitably the people you surround yourself with, the cold, the strict academics, the strict football schedule, all that's going to make you better. But it's how are you going to take advantage of it in the time that you're there? I still, of course, everyone has a little bit of regrets. I still have a little bit of regret of doing those things because I know on the other side of it, like when you have no class and you don't have to write a paper and you can just focus on ball, your life changes.
Yeah.
But you will never get those 3-4 years back, or 5, 7, how many years you get now. But you'll never get that back where you had to do that. And, like Mike Tyson talks about the discipline aspect, doing things that you hate, but acting like you love to do them. It's like working on that, because that's going to put you leaps and bounds ahead of the competition once you get here. Because the NFL, they're faster, stronger, bigger, more intelligent, more experienced, wiser. But at the end of the day, that 3 to 4 years, everyone went through something different, and it set them up for their trajectory at this next level differently. So just being able to really relish what Michigan's trying to give you, that's my advice to them.
I see embracing the suck as, here's Bryce Underwood's talent, and it's like 97%, like this guy's got it all capped out. He's just raw talent. And if you're like, at that point, you're chasing that extra 3%. Comfort is down here in your potential already. Embrace the suck is where you'll get that extra 3%. Do the things. It's honestly like a cue. Like when your internal voice says, you don't need to do this, don't do this. Go to that, become an explorer, go there, and that's where you're going to improve. And that's how you can get rings and go to the NFL and achieve all your dreams.
Yeah.
Awesome.
It's about playing the long game for the both of us. Like we both want rings, and that's what it's going to take, just doing
that. There's no greater feeling like however he feels right now, going to his dream school, go get a ring with the fellas, and there's no greater feeling, period. All right, last one. We do a segment called Who's Got the Sauce, presented by Top House Peanut Sauce. Want to ask you who you think. Give us a who's got the sauce in the Michigan game this weekend. A guy you think can make a big time difference. It could be anybody. Could be anybody of someone that's going to just ball out and be a difference maker this weekend.
Gosh, it's a great question. I'm gonna do one on each side of the ball.
All right.
Well, of course, Dom's gonna have a great game. I mean, kid's got a boat.
Yeah, I like that a lot. I like that a lot. That's a good pick.
It's gonna be a sneaky pick. I feel like defensively, I think Jay Stu is gonna have a day. Jay Stu and D Moore, because they're gonna be so focused on Meso and KG. And then offensively, I really think that it's gonna be Timo. Yeah, Tyler's gonna have a day. I think we can take advantage of Denzel in one. I think we can, but we'll see. I know Davis gonna have a day. You know, he's gonna be who he is. He's gonna be cool, calm, confident, going there with some high precision and detailed execution. But yeah, I think Timo's gonna have a day.
I'd love to see Timo have a day because he had a day against last week against Northwestern. He balled out, and you're like, I realize how crazy it is that this is who he's always been. He just needed the opportunity, and now this week, like, come on, let's get him Ohio State secondary is a bit vulnerable too. Just watching him on tape, so that's going to be a fun one. And then Josiah Stewart, man, he's like
Big Stu.
You're backside, you're hanging, you think you got time, and there comes Big Stu. Comes Big Stu changing games.
Man, I love those boys. I can't wait to watch them, honestly. Like, just go out there, play your hearts out. But like the story of David and Goliath, David won because of his wits and his will. It wasn't because of his size or his talent or anything like that. So just be able to go out there and just do that.
Dude, this is awesome. You got me fired up. It's been a pleasure. Tell Josh Metellus we're rooting for him too. It's great to see him. Metellus, like, what a career he's carved out for himself. It's awesome, man. So
legend. Well, I appreciate you for getting my piss out before training this morning. So have a great rest of your day, Jake.
Got you, man. You too.
Thanks,
JJ.
Have a good one.